And I just want to welcome everybody and honestly congratulate those of you who are on this webinar, because this is about training for building a business. And what we do when we build a business is we take the steps that need to be taken each and every day to continue to build our business. And training is part of that. Now, the beauty of the training is it's the same, and yet it's not the same. It's going to be different each time somebody new does it, because there's going to be a little nugget there. But the beauty of the training is it's the basics of building this business. And in everything we do, you hear it in sports, when you work, in your business, whatever you do, there's something called the fundamentals, the basic fundamentals that you do over and over and over again. And in Relive, that's exactly what it is. It's the basic fundamentals that we do over and over and over again with new people. Each time it's with new people, and that's a key ingredient there. But when you do those basics over and over and over again, that's how you build a business. It's how you build a thriving business. It's how you build a strong, solid business that in Relive will pay you for the rest of your life and beyond. It gives you an opportunity to leave a legacy as well. Now, if you're on just logging in, you can see there's a phone number you can call in if you want, or you can just listen through your computer. Just want to welcome everybody. What we're going to talk about now is the circle of success. And what this is the basics that we take, the basic steps. If you look at the bottom left hand, these are the daily fundamentals, the things that we do each and every day to move our business forward. And I love the fact that it's a circle because it never ends. It isn't like it's a step and then you're to the end of the journey. It's a continuous journey, and each one feeds into the next. But the key really is taking the action, and it's taking the action now. So often, especially when we're in our own business, we have a tendency to wait for the time to be right. And somebody I know very well that I work very closely with loved to use the phrase, wait broke the bridge. And we're talking W-A-I-T, not W-E-I-G-H-T, because when you wait to do your business, what ends up happening is you break the bridge, you break that momentum, you break the moving forward of your business. So we're going to cover each step that we're going to do in a little bit more detail. Identify is probably the one that, when people first get started, it's a stumbling block. But actually, when people are in this business for a long time, I think it becomes a stumbling block as well. We run away from the basics of even making a list because we think, well, we've talked to everybody we know. Well, one thing in our list is it's a living list. It's a list that continues to grow day in and day out because we're out talking to people. And that's one thing I would stress with you, especially if you're in this business for a while, like I have been in this business 19 years. And I'll just share a little bit of my story in a second. But I've been in this business 19 years. So you would think that I probably talk to every single person that I know. Well, when I sit back and think about it, no, I probably have not. But I need to identify those people, number one, that I have not talked to. But also, number two, there's a number of people that I recently started into Relive who I had talked to quite a while ago. But their situation has changed. And you guys, Relive has changed. What we have to offer has changed. The Fit 3 has given me an opportunity to go back to all those people I talked to before because this is a different need. It addresses a different want of somebody's with that Fit 3. And the Lunison has given me an opportunity to say, hey, you've got to check this out. It's something new. So it gives you an opportunity also to go back to the people that you've talked to before. Because remember, when you talk to somebody, a no today is not necessarily a no tomorrow. Because Relive can change and so can their situation. But when you're brand new and you're starting out, and I honestly say just write down everybody, 20 people, get it on that list, get it started. 10 product prospects, 10 business prospects. That's really you thinking this may be what they're interested in. But as we get down the road and I get farther into this training, really the biggest thing is to share the whole picture of Relive with everybody. Give them an opportunity to make a decision and maybe what you think they might be interested in, but people surprise you. So make sure that you're not pigeonholing your list into certain categories. Make sure that anybody you talk to about Relive has an opportunity to learn about the entire picture of Relive instead of just one or the other. But one of the big keys when you're writing people down is, why did you think of them? Okay, now some of them we're just writing them down because we know they deserve an opportunity to hear about Relive. But there are people who are burning a hole in our brain saying, we've got to talk to this person, and there's a reason they are. And that's the why you thought of them. So you want to write that down, because what that's going to do is help you down the road when you're figuring out what to say to them when you connect with them. And then really, who are the first 5 that you want to contact today? A very wise person once told me, the first 5 people you talk to, say it's this week. Let's say the first 5 people you talk to this week. Who would you like to be in business with? Look at it that way. Because quite often, because of what we have a hold of, people may not start out in this business, but quite often they move forward into the business. And it's one of the things you can share with people. As I thought of you, I thought it would be so much fun to be in business with you. You need to look at this. So who are those first 5 that you would just love to be in business with? And who can you contact today? On the West Coast, it's 8 a.m. Here in the Midwest, it's 10 a.m. We have a lot of day left. Even on the East Coast, it's 11 a.m. We have a lot of day left. Who can you talk to today? One of the things Tom Pinnick always shared about is when he first started this business, he had the goal of talking to 5 new people each day. And even if you take that down to a typical work week, okay, you're going to do it Monday through Friday, that's 25 new people in a week. Imagine what could happen in your business if you talk to 25 new people a week at a time. Imagine what could happen. But the key is, even if it's just 1 new person a day, 5 new people a day, and we're going to say 5 days a week, that's 20 new people in a month. Your business can explode. But it's having that goal of doing that and then taking the action, like I talked to before, of actually doing it. We can always have a goal, which is great, but if the plan of action to reach that goal is never taken, and in this one it's a pretty simple plan of action, talk to them, well then guess what? It doesn't make any difference if you have that goal. Nothing ever happens. You have to take the action. And we talk about always have new people to talk to. There will be, if you truly take a look at your center of influence, the family, the friends of friends, friends of other family members. Who do you work with? Who did you work with in the past? Who do you go to church with? If you're in school, or let's say you've got children in school who are their friends in school, their friends' parents, their social media. There's so many different ways. There's also advertising. There's Facebook ads, social media ads. There's newspaper ads. There's so many different ways to add to that list. And if you continue to do that, then you'll always have new people to talk to. If you don't have new people to talk to, the front end of the pipeline dries up, the pipeline of your business. Well, if the front end of your pipeline dries up, so does the back end of your pipeline. So you've always have new people to talk to. And I think that's where people who've been around for a long time, they struggle with that idea that we still need to keep talking to new people and not just working with our organization. So find ways to add to your list every day. Once you've identified, okay, you've got people you've identified, you have that list. Now that list can be gold for you or it can be dust. How it's going to make gold is by you connecting with those people on the list. And there's so many different ways to connect with them. But when you connect, what you're doing is you're setting up the excitement for those people to make the time to get together with you in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it's long distance, sometimes it's in person, which is always better. But in some way, shape, or form to learn about the entire aspects of Relive, whole picture of Relive. And you will find people, because the next question is probably the most commonly asked question by new distributors, but I think even sometimes by established distributors, because we lose the basics. But what do you say? What do you say when you talk to somebody? And, the biggest thing about it is you're sharing excitement. We have really gotten tied up, I think, into trying to know the ins and outs of the science of Relive, which is, it's exciting science. But you guys, if you have to know all of that, you're never going to be able to share with people, because you will never, ever, and I don't care how much you read, how much you listen, how much you do, you will never know what Dr. Carl Hastings and Dr. Galvez know. So you'll never know that details. But what you can know is what happened because of what Dr. Carl and Dr. Galvez know. You can share what's happened with people with Relive. And that's what you're going to share. Why did you get excited about Relive? What excites you about Relive now? And like I said before, if you've got those people that you thought of them for a specific reason, share why you thought about them. You know, I've got a friend, when I first got into this business, who was sicker than a dog with Graves' disease. And the first thing I thought of was, I need to talk to Gabby. She'd already closed her business down because she was so worn out because of the Graves' disease. They were getting ready to radiate her thyroid. And that's what I shared with her. I said, Gabby, you've got to look at this. You know, I thought of you because of what's going on with your thyroid, and I know you had to close down your business and everything. You've got to look at this. And because I was excited and because I was strong about it, we made an appointment immediately, got together with that same week. Now, she actually ended up getting into the business because of what happened for her, but the first thing I did was just set that time to get together with her. Using their why lets them know you care, and what that means is when you ask about what do I say, if you have 2 ears to listen about what's going on with people, because so often we go to talk to somebody running through our mind, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? How am I going to bring up Relive? Where if you sit back and you really start holding a conversation with somebody, especially if this is somebody you haven't talked to for a while, an old acquaintance or something along that line, you know, engage in conversation. Really take an interest in what's going on with them, because what's going to happen is it's going to come around sooner or later. And you know, another way to look at this too, what is one of the main questions people when they run into you ask is, how are you? How are you? And what's our common answer? I'm good, right? Well, I learned this from a very smart distributor as well. When somebody says, how are you? A great response is, well, I'm great now. Because what does that do? It piques the interest of, great now? What do you mean? What about now? What's happened? It gives you an opportunity to go into your experience with Relive and why you're excited and why you're great now as opposed to before. And the neat part about it is, especially now, you have different ways with different tools with Relive to spark that excitement. We have great videos that you can share. If you don't have the Relive app, you want to get it. What a simple way to just message or email somebody very quickly a really great video. Why Relive? A really great video that just gives a little glimpse of what Relive is doing for people. But there's other videos that you can send to people, different information you can send to people. The Relive app is fantastic. We have those tools put in place. Okay? Now you use those tools. I'll tell you, the biggest tool you have is your excitement. That's the most powerful tool you have. When you use that excitement to connect with somebody and say, you've got to look at this. And you notice I'm not saying I want to show this to you. I'm saying you've got to look at this. My focus is on them and what Relive can do for them. It's not on me. And what's going to happen if they decide to get on the products or they get in the business is focused on what can happen for them with Relive. And we've heard it over and over. If you focus on other people's needs, other people's wants and needs, and how you can help them get it, yours will eventually be met. It'll all come back around. But the focus needs to be turned outward, because if you continue to look at people as just as what they can give you for your business, people will see that a mile away, and they will turn around and run. But if you can focus how this can truly help them, you'll be amazed at the response that you'll get. And be honest, be open, be excited. And you know what? Even if they say no at this time, you still love them. That's the way it works, you know, because not everybody's going to understand right away the value of what Relive can do for them. But they can't make a decision about it if they don't know about it. So if we don't open our mouth and tell them about it, you never know, and they will never be able to make that decision. So our job is to expose. Our job is to let people know it's out there. They have an opportunity of something that can literally change their life. What the outcome is not our job. That's not the focus at this point. It's going to happen. You need people in this business, you guys, but you don't ever need one certain person. So when you start to focus on what Relive, and Relive can help every single person on this planet, we know that. So if you focus on what Relive can do for them, you'll be amazed at the difference that you get in response. And what is that goal when you're connecting with people is to set that appointment so you have an opportunity to show people your picture of Relive, not just your quick answers to their questions. And this is what happens especially when we're new. Oh, you know what, or even when we're established and we think we know it all. What happens is people start asking us questions about it, and then we start trying to explain Relive. But what we don't do is share the excitement of what Relive has done for people. And so people, especially in these days, because there's so much out there as far as quote-unquote, and I use those quotes definitely, nutrition, because we know a lot of what's out there is really, truly not nutrition. But there's so much out there that people think they know what they're talking about. So when you start to share and you try to start sharing the details of Relive before you ever get the chance to show them the entire picture, they're going to go home making a decision already with just a little bit of evidence, just a little bit of information. So you want to make sure that you're getting them all that information, because the goal is that they see the entire picture of Relive, company, products, and business, and truly understand what it's done for people, not just what the science is. You know, these are some suggestions. You guys, I don't want to script anybody because you want to be yourself. One of the big things, especially today, is being genuine. Be yourself. Be honest. Be open. What's going to happen is people will be attracted to you and your excitement in the beginning. That's why they'll get together. You know, I know your health's a priority. You need to take a look at something that could really help you. And what I would say is, instead of when can we get together, I would say, would Tuesday or Wednesday work better for you? Give a couple different options, a couple different times. You know, when they don't understand the value of what you have a hold of, so just saying, when can we get together, they're not so sure they want to set aside that time yet because they don't know the value of it. But when you give them a couple different options, now they're going to choose from those options they're choosing, but you still have control of the urgency of getting together. You know, the soccer game. Now, this is another one. You mentioned your finances are tight. Again, we have a tendency, because we have such great products, to just focus on people who are sick. There's a lot of people who are sick financially, struggling, especially with the economy today. Make sure that you're not just approaching people about the product. I have a good friend, Joyce Holthaus, who was approached the first time because they had some illness issues. There was some, you know, health issues that they were looking at, and the first person who approached her about them mentioned just the products and just about them getting help with the products. And what she said is, I can't afford to even buy groceries. How could I even think about a product? A while later, somebody approached them about the business and said, I don't know if it's for you or not, but people are earning significant incomes with this because of what the products are doing. And then they took a look at it. Ended up becoming ambassadors, doing very, very well, you know, getting out of debt, all of that. But they would not have looked at it had they not been approached about the business as well. So you know what? There's so many different ways. Again, these are just ideas. You know, like I said, just how are you? Or even like with the tools we have today. If I send you this video, would you look at it? And then set the time to follow up. Again, you've got the tools, you've got the stories to validate. I use the stories to get people excited. I like to share snippets of stories with people. It's also why you need to stay plugged in to know those stories. You need to have been networking with distributors, been at meetings, conferences, on calls, to know those stories. Because the more stories you know, the more you have to share with somebody, and you never know which one's going to get somebody excited enough to move forward. So it's important for you to stay plugged in as well. And then what you're going to do is share the Relive story. And this is the appointment, you guys, and this can look so different in so many different situations. Always, 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 if you can get together with somebody in person, we always know that's better. It just is, because you can build that relationship with somebody so much better when you're in person. But you can't always do that. But there's different ways. When you share the Relive story, you're sharing a whole picture of Relive. You're obviously going to share your story. And some of you may be brand new. If you're brand new, you've got your upline with you who's sharing their story. They're sharing what's happened with them already. But what you can share is why you're excited and your belief of what's going to happen. Open your heart. Let people see your heart about Relive. Because what you're doing is you're talking to their heart as well. You know, we get so tied up in talking to people's heads and going for head knowledge when Typically what moves people forward with Relive is an emotional connection when we speak to their hearts. And like I said earlier, when you're sharing this, you're going to share the whole Relive story. Make sure that they know about the company, they know about the products, they know about the business, and they also know about the Cloggers Foundation. I make sure they know what this company is all about. Now, how do I do that? There's a number of different ways. We have the opportunity book if you're sitting down. Most people today aren't even using that. They're using their computer and actually going through the slides. There's videos that you can share with people. There's all different kinds of information online. You can walk somebody through an appointment. We have webinars. We have a Monday night webinar at 5:30 Pacific, 7:30 Central that we have every Monday night that you can basically take somebody to a meeting virtually right online, which is fantastic, saves you time. Introduce stories. I still today do not do an appointment without the stories, and it's always third-party stories because you can talk till you're blue in the face, but when somebody else does the exact same thing you do, it holds more weight. Plain and simple. It's just the way people are wired, so utilize it. So introduce, if you don't have the upline available, there's still so many other stories. Again, why we network with other distributors, why we stay plugged in to the Relive system, because you always have stories that you can share with people. And you never know which story is going to catch somebody's heart and want them to move forward. I helped a lady whose husband had colon cancer, and what actually moved her forward was a young baby story about can't even remember what it was. It was like botulism or something like that. But it was the baby story that moved her forward. So you never know what's going to catch with people to move them forward. So make sure that you're sharing stories, and it doesn't have to match exactly. Obviously, in the beginning, if they can hear something that matches them, it holds a little bit more weight because that's where their focus is. But when you broaden their horizon of Relive and they understand the magnitude of what can happen with Relive, it's far more powerful. Again, what I consider an appointment is anything that shares the company, the products, and the business, the Cloggers Foundation, to get the whole picture. And it could be even just a connection with somebody online, on the stories, but making sure those stories are there with it. It's just a complete picture of Relive is what an appointment is. Help new people engage themselves and who they know. You know, when you're doing these meetings and events, like these are appointments as well. We do those get-together meetings. We have special events that are happening. And I would suggest take a look at the website. Now on your Relive app, there's also a list of what's happening. Relive is committed to getting out there and helping us. Now our job is to get the new people in front of them. That's the important part. The events that are going on, who do you know? Who do you know that knows somebody in that area as well? Gives you an opportunity to ask people you know. Who do you know in Atlanta? Who do you know in Detroit? You know, wherever there's a special event going on, you can initiate a conversation with friends and family, even if you're not in the area, of who do they know? And the question is, why? And you can say, because the company I'm involved with is having a huge event and people need to hear about this. And then if somebody doesn't know about it, they'll right away will ask, well, what is it? Because they're going to want to know about it too. When you're at those presentations, especially when you have guests, get them around meeting other people. Take them around hearing the stories. Interact. Get them interacting with other Relive distributors. What they're doing is building relationships. Relationships tie people to the company, to the products, to the business. It's building those relationships. These are other ways. You got, like we were talking about, the conference calls, your upline, other distributor stories. Lifestyle Magazine I like to use for a connect. It's probably not an appointment thing because it doesn't really, except there have been a couple that I've really laid out the entire picture of Relive, but it's usually a connect tool for me that people get interested in Relive. There's the Relive blog. We've got the video tools. The cool thing is you don't have to know everything about Relive. And when you're brand new, you really don't because you have so many people to support you in your upline. But if you use that built-in system and you're educating and validating and sharing the entire Relive story, something in there is going to catch the person that you're talking to's heart. And that's how they're going to move forward. And there's so many different tools. You're going to use some that work the best for you. I caution against negating the rest of them, though. because you'll never know which tools are really going to talk to the people that you talk to. So use them all. Then we're all through. You've done the job in some way, shape, or form. You have shared about Relive the entire picture. And I think this also is a big stumbling block for people is ask for a decision. What you're going to do is find out where people are at. Listen to them. I like to just say something along the line of, what are you thinking right now? Because it gets them comfortable to just kind of share what's going on in their head. Some people will say on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest in the business? What's your interest in the product? Something along that line. Or how do you see you fitting into Relive? Or what do you see Relive doing for you? There's so many different questions that you can ask. And each person that you're talking to, the question might be a little bit different just because of how you know them. But the key is to ask something that is not a yes or no question. Are you interested? Because typically when somebody's kind of teetering and you put them point blank for them, they're going to run the other way. Whereas if you just say, what are you thinking? What do you see in Relive do for you? Something along that line. Then if you're quiet, and it may take them, a minute or two to come back and tell you because they're gathering their thoughts. But if you sit back and you're quiet, have it an air of expectancy like Amy Thomas always says, but sit back and be quiet and now listen to when they start to talk. Because what they're going to do is share with you where they're at. You cannot bring somebody forward if you don't meet where they're at. Often you'll have people say, well, the products sound interesting. I'm not sure I'm interested in the business. Or something along that line, well, I'm not sure I could do this. There's so many different things that people can come up with or say, and the key is be prepared for whatever happens. You may have somebody that you thought would not be interested at all, but you went through the motions of sharing the whole excitement of Relive with them, and now they want to be a master affiliate. You never know what can happen with people. So sit back, ask the question, and then relax and listen. But before you ever went to that appointment, you should be prepared. If you're doing personal appointments, you should have products with you at all times. You should know how to get people registered via your tools, whether it's with the paper, which is so uncommon anymore, or with the Relive app, or going online. There's so many different ways you can do that. But have it on hand, ready for the decision, because when people are ready to get started, get them started. Again, we'll go back to the adage, wait broke the bridge. Don't wait. Get them started wherever they're ready to get going. You're giving them their options. They're going to choose an option. You can move people forward, and a lot of times that changes. But the first thing you have to do is get them started before they can move forward. So, what's a great thing to do is have a couple different orders, like a quick start order or a master affiliate order. Sample orders kind of made up. Well, here's kind of an idea. You can change it, but give them an idea. Be ready to get them on, get them registered, get that order placed. If they're right there with you, you can actually get them started, and then you can help them get registered while you're there getting them started. But the key is be prepared, be ready. And then, you know what? What I love to do is especially if you've got somebody who's thinking about the business, or even if they're not, I like to hand them a piece of paper with 1 through 10 written down and said, who did you think of when you're hearing those stories today? And I'll tell them, just hang on to that. Because if they're going to give it to you, they might be a little nervous about that, but I said, just hang on to that because you may want that for later. We're going to just continue to educate you. But what that does is it's already getting them opportunity thinking. Because as they heard those stories, if they haven't told you, well, you need to talk to my uncle or something along that line, that they're thinking of people. So by giving them a sheet and having them write those people down, but they're going to keep it themselves, they're comfortable writing those people down that they thought about, but now they're already opportunity thinking about who else needs to hear about Relive. So the key is being prepared for anything that can happen. You may even have somebody say, well, I'm just not ready for this right now. And the question is, great, what do you think you're not ready for? And if they say no, it's okay, you've done your job. The key is to be prepared if they say yes, which a lot of them will. If they say no, it's okay, be prepared, because I actually told Trish Fisher when she came and did the appointment, I told her I had to think about it for a while. I was not ready to do anything at that minute. She set the time to get back together with me, but she did not push me. And that's one thing I have to stress is you do not push. When you push, people will run. They're used to the hardcore salesman. But you accept what's ever said. Now that no, we know, and maybe a yes tomorrow, which obviously it turned out with me. The key is setting the time to do the follow-up and then moving forward from there. And even people who tell you no will still give you referrals. That's great. You're not ready for this now. Who do you know that could stand to hear from this? Or who do you know that would benefit from hearing about Relive? Who did you think of? Because referrals, I actually had somebody refer me to somebody else for the business, and they said no. But the person that they referred me to said yes. So there, you never know what can happen just from doing that appointment. It may not be what you expected, but it could lead you to somebody else down the road. So make sure that you're asking, who do you know who could benefit from this in some way, shape, or form, whether they say yes or no. Now, you've got people who are moving forward. They've gotten started. They've decided to move forward. Well, there's so many different ways to get people started. What I like to do, if you've just done the appointment, and this isn't a little bit later where they've not seen the marketing plan, but they've just finished going through it all, say, so where do you see yourself getting started? Again, revisit the options, the benefits. One of the great things I was hearing Mindy Jones talk about, having an option sheet for people showing the benefits of each level. We have the customer, we have the preferred customer, we have the preferred customer on AutoShip. What I like to do is start with Master Affiliate. Even somebody with a family who's looking at just using the products, when you look at it, a Master Affiliate orders basically enough basic nutrition for 4 people for a year. So it's still an option for them. I like to start with the Master Affiliate, and then I will talk to them and say, well, but if you can't start there, you can work your way up, and I will start back and show them how they can work their way up by going through the options, and then always, again, ending at the Master Affiliate. So I started with the Master Affiliate, and I ended with the Master Affiliate. We have a tendency, especially with what's going on now with the preferred customer and AutoShip, we have a tendency to do the minimalist route and just think that that's the way to get everybody started. However, there's a lot of people, if we show them all the options, who are going to start at a higher level, and we know the benefits of, even if you're just using the products, the benefit of Master Affiliate. So make sure that you share what's good for them, not just what you think they would be interested in or they're going to go for. I had a lady who was on assisted living, literally government assistance, who found a way to get to Master Affiliate because she heard the benefits of it. So that's the important part, is making sure that you're sharing. You're not pushing, you're not deciding for them, but you are sharing the benefits because we know where the benefits are. You're sharing the benefits and making sure they understand the differences. Ask questions and listen about the products, Super Pack. The cool part about Relive is we start people on the basic nutrition. It's so simple. That's the beauty of Relive, is we keep it simple. And then, you know what, they can customize with the targeted solutions. But by having a starting point for everybody, it makes it very simple to do this business and duplicatable. That's what I love about this, is it's duplicatable. People can copy what you do. And, going through all the options, again, who do you know who can benefit, not just from the Relive products, who do you know who can benefit from Relive? I like to just take out the products part, take out the business part. Who do you know who can benefit from Relive? Because there's so many different aspects. They may know people who are looking for a job. They may know people losing their job. They may know people struggling to make a few extra dollars. It isn't just about the products. So make sure that you give that option of who do you know who can benefit from Relive. Again, Master Affiliate, we've got Master Affiliate, obviously, if you're building a business, best place to get started. Doesn't matter what level you're at. You're going to do the exact same work. Why not get the most for every minute you put into it, but also open up the opportunity of all 5 forms of income instead of just 2? Or if you're a retail distributor, just 1. So make sure that you show those benefits clearly and then help them make the decision. Help them, I don't say force them into it, but help them make that decision by keeping them informed. Ask questions, what are they truly looking for? Listen, that kind of thing is going to be huge. I like the Super PAC because it's easy to It's easy to determine, a quick order because, like I said, we start everybody on the basic nutrition. But you know what? They can tailor make it, and that's what I stress with them is this doesn't have to be the way it is, but here's what I suggest, and help them come up with an order. They don't know the Relive business, so I guess the key I'm saying here is everything you do, you're doing with them and helping them by keeping them informed of what the best moving forward would be. And then get them register and go. Now, what this means is you're going to follow up with those people. Okay, you've got them registered. They may be customers, they may be distributors. Doesn't matter. This slide's about following up with customers. Very often, customers will become distributors. Very often, customers start as distributors because they want a better price. We call them wholesale consumers. That's okay. What you're going to do, though, is you're going to set them up to let them know that this isn't the end. This is the beginning. This is where we get started today. This is where we start helping you not only see results, but understand the power of Relive and what can happen for you, be it just with the products or be it with the business opportunity. The whole thing throughout is what you're doing is you're educating people and helping them get a broader understanding of the magnitude of Relive. And I think that cannot be done with just one or two calls. It cannot be done with just one or two connections. And there's so many different ways you can do that today. Again, the calls are fantastic. I like to do some power hours and leave voicemail calls as well if I can't get a hold of them. We've got videos you can send them. There's so many different things you can use to continue to educate people about Relive. And in the process of doing that, you're making sure that they're using the products correctly as well. Did you take your shakes today? Keep checking on that consistency. What results are you seeing so far instead of are you seeing anything, but what are you seeing so far? So I love to ask people because it helps them identify it themselves and it solidifies in their mind the benefits they're already seeing from the products. Now, you've got distributors that you're getting started as well. You're going to be doing the same follow-up with those distributors as you are with consumers by connecting them into stories, making sure you're tracking their results, making sure they're being consistent. One of the other things you're going to do is you're going to help them sit down and start this process themselves with the identify, the connect, and the appointments. You're going to help them get started. You're going to mentor them, walk right alongside them. Great when you got a distributor registered. Sit down and do that list with them right away. Okay, who are the 10 people that you thought of first when you heard about the products? Who are the 10 people you thought of first when you heard about the business? Who do you know you'd like to be in business with? There's so many different questions you can ask to help them get that list started. Be there with them when they first get that list started. And then, who do you want to talk to today? Or who can we talk to today? Help them do it because when they first start setting those appointments, it's scary for them. But knowing that there's somebody right there to help them, right there at their beck and call, they're going to be far more likely to do it. You don't want to do this business alone. So the cool part is, as a mentor, and this is your responsibility when you get them registered, as a mentor, you're going to help with them. You're going to go side by side with them. Review the basics of running a Relive business, how to order. You're going to help them with this, registering people. This is actually something I do with new distributors as they're doing it. They've got somebody we're connected with. Well, great. Let's get them started. Let's give them a call. We'll walk you through how to register them online. There's all different ways you can do that with people in person, online, but the key is make sure that you're doing it with them. The distributor kit, well, they got that online anymore, and, I would gear them right away to the Get Started videos that are on Relive. The podcasts that have been done are fantastic. Show them where the tools are, where they can learn how to do this. Actually walk them through it. Here's how you get on. Very simple. It gives them an empowerment of knowing where those tools are so that they can learn what to do so that they can move forward. And then review the rest of the Relive tools, the Relive system, I would call it. Show them where they can find the stories. They know people. Let's say you've got somebody let's say here in Nebraska, and they know somebody in California. Fantastic. Hang on a minute. I'm going to connect them up with somebody in California. We're going to show them how to get the information of what's going on in California where they've got this person. Who can they connect them up with? that kind of thing. You are a mentor, and you're going to go side by side and teach these people how to do this business. And if you commit to doing that, you'll be amazed at what happens and how quickly your business is going to grow, because the people that you're working with are empowered because they know what to do, but they also know that somebody's going to be right there alongside them to do it. And then continue to get them introduced to new distributors. Continue to help them build their bank of stories. And as you do that, they're going to see that what you did with them is what they can do with the people that they get started. There's so many different tools you can use. We've already talked about this, the videos that we've got, the Relive app, the different flyers, your health and genetics lifestyle. That's still a powerful one. I love the one that's along that line that talks about Lunison, the opportunity. Got the DVDs. Right now, a lot of people, you're just sending a video online. You know, hey, if I send you this video, will you look at it? Let's set a time to get together and talk about it. You know, Facebook, you can message people. There's Twitter, there's YouTube. There's so many different things you have available that you can utilize. Key is research it. And if you're new, talk to your upline. Get with the people you know using these. What tools do I have? And then, you're going to use what feels most comfortable for you, but try to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, especially if you've been around a while, and try to learn some of the other ways, because each tool is going to talk to somebody differently. So you're going to find the tools that work the best for the people that you're talking to, not just for you. The Relive system is really, really simple. And if you notice these arrows, they feed into each other. You've got the business, the international conference, which we just had, the national conference. There's 2 national conferences now, one in Anaheim, and the next one's coming now in Orlando. And if you're not registered for that, you want to get registered. 30-year anniversary, we're going to have a huge celebration. Here's the key, though. If you continue to do these steps that we've talked about, and you do them day in and day out, using the corporate support that we've got the story calls, the webinars, the blogs. We've got so much that Relive has put out there for us, the app, which is fantastic, where all these tools are on there. And you're plugging new people into that. So you're doing the daily, if you look at the daily activities, the presentations, the in-homes, the meetings, using those tools, you've got new people who are getting into special events and meetings and all of this. And now they're getting into the conferences. And what happens is it's a continuous cycle, just like we talked about. But what happens is the circle grows and grows and grows, because it's more and more people who are in your organization who are on that circle, who are moving that circle forward, and your business expands. Think about that circle expanding bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's because you took daily action of putting new people into all of these elements that we have talked about. And then you're going to need a whole section yourself at conference for just your organization. Got a lot of upcoming events. But the key is to think about what's coming next. This is obviously an old slide. But what's coming next is Orlando in October. And you don't want to miss this. This is where you want to be, because what you've got is you've got a hold of something that can literally change people's lives if they're willing to take the action. But the key is they cannot make a decision about something they don't know about. So our job is to educate people through the Relive tools that we've been given, our excitement, and the stories that they know about something that can literally change their life. Where if I don't know, honestly, I've been involved with Relive now 19 years, and when I was introduced, I was in so much pain. He touched me, it hurt, so fatigued I couldn't even run around the yard with my kids, digestive issues, brain fog, and I was in my late 30s, you guys. Where was my life going from there? Not long into my business, my husband was scammed, and we lost a lot of money financially. Where would I be? But because somebody chose to get out there and share Relive with people, and I met her, and I grabbed a hold of it and took the action. Today at 57, my blood work shows no autoimmune issues. I throw hay bales, ride horse, play sports, teach fitness classes. My whole family is happy and healthy and vital. We work this business, so by the 4th year, we're earning a 6-figure income. We put 2 kids through out-of-state undergrad college, 4 years of it, debt-free. Because we have a whole different life because somebody chose to get out there and share Relive. The impact, you never know how you sharing Relive is going to impact somebody down the road. But the key is you've got to get out there and share it. And I cannot stress that enough. So, and as you do that, you will build an organization that will accompany you to Orlando in October, and then it'll even grow up from there. Engage your team, develop their library of stories, help them get different stories. You help them build their bank, keep them informed. Quila does a fantastic job of keeping her organization informed of what's happening. Make sure that you're copying that you're doing the same thing. To build ambassadors, to build successful distributors, you build those relationships. You yourself stay engaged with what is going on in Relive. How many of you read the blog? How many of you are signed up for Relive emails? How many of you get in on the calls and the webinars? The social media, the text. How many of you are doing the Me Plus 3 Fit 3 challenge? They have 75 teams. That's fantastic. But here's the deal. And I have to tell you guys, everything Relive starts to do, the first thing I think of is how can this help me attract new people? And my one team is 3 new people. My other team is actually 1 new person, but that new person was because somebody they knew was on my other team. It's how do you use the things that's happening with Relive to get to new people, to let them get them excited about Relive and move forward. And set your goals. This is a tough one for some people because they think if I don't reach my goal, well, then I failed. Well, you know what? You set a goal and you set a plan of thinking, a plan of action, and then you take that plan of action. And if you are taking that plan of action and you don't quite meet that goal that's tied to time, that's okay. You just keep moving that plan of action. And guess what? You are going to hit that goal. You may just not have hit it at the time that you want. But without a goal, how can you even know where you're going? How can you even be looking forward because you have no goal? That's the important part, is having that goal first, but then taking the action to move forward, because a goal without a plan of action is just a pipe dream. A goal with a plan of action is a goal and can be achieved if you follow that plan of action. You assess yourself each week. I think that's the most important thing, is assess yourself each week. When I get people started in the business, I tell them to get 3 notebooks. 1 notebook is their list of people that they know on a first-name basis. We talked about that over and over, the identify. Second notebook, and a lot of people, that's their phone anymore, is a list of distributors that they know, that they've met, their stories, their phone numbers. It's their bank of stories. And like I said, that notebook now is my phone. But the third notebook is their Relive journal. And there's been different versions of that come out, but really all it takes is a notebook. And you write down each day what you did with your Relive business. Because what it is it's a way for you to go back when your business isn't where you want it to be. You can go back and flip through and see what you're doing in your business every single day. It's an accountability journal that helps you keep track of what works and what doesn't work, or if you are working. So often people will say, I'm working so hard, but when they go back and they look at what they're doing, what they truly did in their business, they'll see that it really feels like that. What you concentrate on in that notebook, that Relive journal, is talking to new people, connecting those new people into the Relive system, the Relive stories, the Relive tools that we have, and connecting people they've already gotten started into that same. That's the 3 activities you concentrate on in that Relive journal. So it's a great way to track what you're doing in your business and how that business is moving you forward. Because Relive is about duplication. And if you keep it simple and you help other people do the exact same thing, as you duplicate, you will grow a business that will not only bless you financially, it'll bless you with relationships, and it'll bless you for the rest of your life, and you can leave a legacy. And imagine the lives that'll be changed when you build a huge organization. So the question you have to ask yourself today, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and you get the picture, who's next? Who do I talk to next? Let's go bless a lot of lives, you guys. Let's go make changes. Congratulations again for being on the webinar. This will be recorded, or was recorded, and the link will be sent out shortly. God bless everybody.